My blissful gorgeous selves, when you don't know the history, you repeat folly after folly again and again, and life becomes mini hell. At present, the whole India is in very dangerous condition. Why? Because we are taught forged false history written by our dire enemies. Why? Because from 1947 to late 70s, one by one, 5 Hindu-hater Muslims were made education minister. After them, great enemy of India, communists, took over it, sending your innocent, trusting little sons and daughters to convent or Christian Muslim operated to Macaulayite schools and colleges, means losing them, losing your heart pieces, your children to who are compulsive enemies of our culture, our dire enemies of our civilization, our traditions and our sanskaras. That is why, my dear friends, there is so much conflicts and generation gap only in the Hindu families, not in Christian families, not in Muslim families, only in Hindu families. That is why Uddhav and Kejri and Rahul or Mamta Jihadin and Diggi and Jiddu, like traitors are born. Traitors are born. They also get followers. Why it happened, my dear friend? Because the real history of India is carefully concealed. Even good Prime Minister like Modi also is a part of this concealing sin, along with continuing holy cow slaughter. So the true history is whom you are brainwashed to think is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was in fact Miaji Nehru. He was the son of Thustur Rahman Bai and Moinuddin, a former court clerk practicing law by name Motilal Nehru, and M.K. Gandhi, who was a British agent, who was asked by Brits to dress like Hindu saint and aid Mahatma in your name to conquer the heart of the Hindus. Subhash and Savarkar and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel were honest revolutionaries, dressing like saints. Duratma Gandhi sidetracked them, and when Patel was victor of Prime Minister post in legal democratic election with majority of votes, Nehru, who has only 1 or 2 votes, was lost. And because of stubborn nature of Gandhi, this Nehru of jihadi mullah mindset, by conspiracy, Nehru became Prime Minister. In 15 years of his rule, he did utmost damage to Hindu civilization. In 1964, Nehru died in some sexual disease. A very good Prime Minister came, Shastriji. He could have liberated India from doom of Nehruism, but he was poisoned by Nehru's daughter, Memuna Begum, the wife of Firoz Khan, concealing her Muslim identity, claimed herself as Indira Gandhi, although Prayag court jailed her on charges of misconduct, corruption. But as soon as she was freed, She hijacked PM post, enforced emergency on the whole nation, and did fast changes in constitution to favor Muslims and disdain Hindus with support of communists, and searched for more powers to hound the Hindus along with 70 years through. All along these 70 years through mullahs and leftists and other many forces, Congress has been damaging and destroying Hinduism so that nobody should be able to claim India for their own ownership and challenge them for it. At last, after Rajiv and Narsingh Rao to Atal to Manmohan Singh and this Sonia Rahul plundered India, converted lots of Hindus into Mullah Firangi and leftist and secularist. Through dawn of Manmohan, Sonia exploited India dangerously and prepared proposed a new bill to completely destroy the Hindus' communal violence bill. Hindus got startled awake seeing the intention of this wicked party, and on 2014 they elected hard-working Mr. Modi as Prime Minister, and with social media, Hindus understood as the sinister game was being played with them for their annihilation. They held Modi strong and fast and hoping he will bring the Hindu Rashtra. But only he or she can bring Hindu Rashtra who has a deep respect for Hindu traditions, Hindu sanskaras, and gurus like Shankaracharya with his advice, who takes a serious decision about the country, whose first step is to put complete ban on cow slaughter, on the slaughter of holy cow race, which Modi has not done even in 7 years. Although intellectual Hindus have known M.K. Gandhi was not only traitor of nation but also secret practitioner of incest even with his granddaughters and of other girls of her age. Gandhi cared less for India, for the nation and Hindu cause. He worked as well-wisher of Muslims and his own secular image on international platform that was more valuable for him. Hindus hate Gandhi now, but Modi is a Gandhi Bhagat, and along with good works, he is also putting secreted time bombs for Hindu destruction as Gandhi did. But Hindus are Hindus. I feel pity when Modi's blunders, anti-Hindu part of his personality would be disclosed, how big shock and heartache they will face. Therefore, we must know the history before it repeats itself. In last 70 years, naming them as minorities, so much extra benefits have been given to the Muslims. They have turned belligerent, whereas naming Hindus secular, many, even a lot of their human rights have been taken away. They have been reduced to be like second-class citizens. But on international platform, the face of India is that of Hindu. US President Trump always said Hindu India and Islamic terrorism. Even Indians had no guts to tell that truth so boldly, my dear friends. The future of India depends on what Hindus think and do. Therefore, false face of secularism must be dumped out and stand out as genuine, true, traditional Hindus. Then only they will survive, and not only that, progress fast. To be genuine, true, traditional, modern Hindu, listening and understanding Bhagavad Katha, this God's ambrosial embrace commentary of Bhagavad Katha is the way. So the question arises, when and how many years ago King Priyavrat and King Agnidra and King Navi and King Rishabh and King Emperor Bharat were born and lived? The answer is around about 1,095,000,000 and a few thousand years ago. Okay? Check the Hindu Panchang published by Banaras Hindu University for exact year and details. My dear friends, now let us enter into Bhagavad Katha. Rishena Jnanena Bhatiti Rishabha, whose beauty and excellency stands upon his wisdom, is called Rishabh. When the Lord appeared, he named his name is Rishabdev. Okay? His father coronated him while he is still a baby and left home, his palace, his empire, for the forest of Badrinath to meditate, like sage Kardamji. Okay? Juvenile king began to govern the nation. Indra, envying him, did not reign at all in his empire in the drought. Rishabh laughed a big belly laugh and sent down showers throughout his empire by his yoga power, and he named the whole landscape in his father's name Ajnavarsh. He operated his royal duties of his empire from his guru's hermitage and received education at the same time. By his permission, means by his guru's permission, he married with Princess Jayanti, the daughter of the king of heaven, whose name is Purandar and Indra. 100 sons were born. The first 9 of them became rulers of different parts of the empire. Even now they are named after them. King Bharat was the eldest and superb. After him this empire as a whole became famous as Bharatvarsh. My dear friends, another areas of Kushavarth, Ilavarth, Brahmavarth, Malaiketu, Bhadrasen, Indrasprit, Vidarbh and Kikat became famous kings. Kavi and Hari and Antariksh and Prabuddha and Pippalayana, Agnihotra and Drumil and Chamas and Karbhajan, these 9 became immortal yogis, and the rest of 81 sons became leaders of sacrifices. They became Brahmins. The rishis they became. Once Rishabdev invited all his sons and citizens and sages in Brahmavarth. Now it is central city is called Bithur. It played fascinating brave role in independence fight, my dear friends. In 1857, all assembled therein. Then he gave an enlightening discourse. He spoke, "My dear children, my dear ministers, my dear citizens, This human life must not be wasted and blown away in sensational pleasures like smoke of a cigarette. Cigarette is not a modern invention, my dear friends, okay? In drama books of Sanskrit, we find descriptions of cigarette being smoked by early Hindu kings. They were smoking, but they were not harmful and intoxicating. Instead of tobacco, they contain things such as cardamom and musk and lotus filaments and other herbal things. Ayurveda has also a smoke therapy chapter, and that is cigarette therapy. Okay, but that doesn't include any tobacco. So, my dear friends, Rishabhdev said that this human life must not be wasted and blown away in sensational pleasures like smoke of a cigarette, because they are available even in sensational pleasures are available even in hogs and dogs and chicken life as well. In reality, they are source of sheer misery. Therefore, what is the source of misery? Sensational pleasures. Therefore, use your hands in worship, your intellect to explore His mystery, your heart to sing His glories, your face to smile upon His lovely pastimes. As long as there is passion in action, so long there is attraction for sensational person, faith, a place, or things. And so long there is going to be tension and frustration. Body burden will be increasing as many you will have unfulfilled desires, so much your limbs, your sweat, your mouth, your breath will have stink, they will have bad smell. It will go on increasing. All perfumes belong to love, my dear. Love of God alone is love. Love of Bhagavan love of Bhagavan alone is love. And love is always unconditional and causeless. Everything else is business. Do not get involved with sheer materialistics, compulsive, worldly guys. They do not know anything about their duty. They work for pleasure, but they get suffering. Who cannot uplift you from ultimate suffering is neither your guru, nor your parents, nor husband, nor wife, nor kinsmen, nor friends, nor even your God, so-called concept of God, so-called hypothesis. And so they are not. So the God is one which liberates, supreme power, who is never jealous, who is never vengeful, who is always merciful, who is kind, who is fulfiller of your desires. Among all the stages of evolution of consciousness, the wise men, the sadhus, the enlightened, the sages, the experiencer of the absolute truth is superior. They are far dearer to me than my body itself. I eat through their mouth. I rest and relax when they are comfortable. Therefore, those who walk on that path must be protected and feasted at all costs, generation after generation. As the lecture completed, a great applause, and the citizens and the ministers and the sons took it very seriously. And then they became great yogis, the 9 great yogis they became. and they lived all the way until the time of Krishna, 5,000 years ago we see him. But